What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to yet another episode of the AFC podcast. I think we got over 80 this season so far, and I'm completely blown away. Very special guest today from calling in from California. His name is justin.usle. How's it going, brother?
Usely. It's all good.
I'm never good at pronouncing people's names. I just read it how I see it.
Oh, it's all good, dude. Like there's been like two people have gotten it right in my time on Earth. So yeah, it's all good.
Is that a family name from off and afar?
Yeah, no, it's kind of an interesting story there. They they went back to it and they believe it was from Holland originally, but though those folks from Holland went down to Spain and were like boat makers, so they think it's originally from Holland, but then Spanish. So there's some Usleys in like Barcelona. I actually met one when I was over there. So, but over there it's Usle.
Usle.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like a little bit of a French flair to it.
Yeah, and so you just pretend there's a YOU in front of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but who minds?
Yeah.
No. I don't have to spell it out for everybody.
Nah, it's all good.
So I take it you're in the filmmaking club. You've been in the industry. Do you consider yourself more of an actor, director?
I'm definitely more of an actor. I mean, I kind of started taking it seriously, in 2015 after years of just doing other stuff. And I was like, you know what? Can we swear, or do you want to keep the curses out?
You can swear. Like
Okay.
it's perfectly fine. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, 2015, I did a very somewhat difficult play. It was Oleana, which is a Mamet play, David Mamet, and Oleana consists of just two actors. It's about a college professor and his interactions with a student, and takes place in 3 acts. So it's just tons of lines and very emotionally draining, and it's a great play. But at the time I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? Like, I haven't acted in a while, and I'm supposed to learn 3 acts, with just one other person. And I actually created like a new system for myself to memorize the lines, and to be honest, fucking nailed it. So,
Great.
it just kind of like woke myself up. And after that, I was like, maybe I can make a go at this. So, been pursuing it ever since. And yeah, here I am.
Where are you from originally?
Originally from Vermont.
Okay.
New England, New Hampshire, Vermont, that area. Grew up, was born in New Hampshire, but I consider myself from Vermont at this point. But I still got love for both states.
How's the skiing up there? I've been looking at a few resorts for like an AFC summer camp getaway.
There you go. Well, I got biased because I worked at Smuggler's Notch for a couple seasons. So it's like on the other side of oh shit. It's too early. There's a fancy resort on the other side, and actually they shall remain nameless. There we go. Because Smuggler's Notch is the shit. But I like that place. I also like Loon. Loon is like a little smaller. It's over in New Hampshire, but it's fun. I like that area. But you got multiple choices. Also, it's a little cold, but Jay Peak's probably the best like skiing in New England, I'd say. Right. But it's right on the Canadian border in Vermont. So it gets
high up.
Yeah, it can turn chilly real quick. So
I heard Maine usually around Thanksgiving is usually like -10 degrees sometimes.
It can be, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember we got school canceled in Vermont one time because it was -20, and once you get to that, basically the diesel and the school buses gel. So
Wow. So you get a snow day.
yeah, I mean that was rare. That was like, but I do remember it was funny slash serious. The local newscaster was like, so it's going to be negative, 15, 18, 20 tonight. So bring in the cats or they'll die. It's like, yeah, but they will. You bring in the cats, so they'll die.
Oh my God. I can't imagine. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So how long you been out in California for?
In California, I moved here right after the pandemic. So I was living in Dubai and I got out on the last flight before they closed the country. And
Oh my God.
and originally I was going to move to LA, but with everything going on, I thought it would behoove me to go someplace where I could be outside a bit more. So I actually ended up getting a job in Lake Tahoe. So I spent 2 years up there. And,
Yeah, right on.
yeah, and the day job at that point was just voiceover. I still continued to do voiceover as the day job. Um, but yeah, I ended up getting a job at the casino there as well. And then I would just manage over at one of the shops in the winter so I get a free pass. So yeah,
Right on, man.
it was a pretty good deal. But after 2 years, I realized COVID's not going anywhere. So again, I just had another, well, fuck it moment. Let's go to LA and give this a go for full-time acting, you know?
Was that where you were pursuing out in Dubai before coming to LA?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I started out there. I got a job teaching English at a military institute, but to be honest, I only worked from 7 to 1:30, and the rest of the time gave me opportunities to start working in the industry there, because I was coming off of that experience doing that play, and I was like, yeah, why don't I start doing this? And so I started getting into productions there during my free time, and also I started expanding on my voiceover. So I basically was getting paid more to do voiceover, um, and doing the acting thing than I was, doing
Right.
the day job. So that was again another step where I was like, huh, well, maybe I could really make a go at this. I mean, I was fortunate to be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, which kind of helped me find my legs and find out what I liked, what I didn't like. So
Sure.
it was advantageous for sure. But yeah, after that experience, and I mean, I had been planning on leaving. After been 5 years, I was originally going to stay there 2 years, but Dubai, I will say, I do miss it. There are a lot of good things about Dubai. You know, uh, from May to September, it's not great being in the desert, but the rest of the time, from like October to April, the weather's perfect. It's like 70 degrees every day, and you're right by the ocean. So,
Really?
yeah,
So their winter is just a moderate, nice spring, summertime the whole time.
basically, yeah. And but yeah, during the summer, there'll be days where you walk outside, you go, nope, and then you
Not
walk
happening.
right back in.
Oh, geez. I can't imagine. Like I've seen pictures of Dubai and what it used to look like 50 years ago, and you just compare it to today, where it's not even the same
No,
city.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Incredible, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny thing. Like Dubai has those, glory shots of the city and everything. But
Uh huh.
the thing of it was my buddy runs a hiking adventure, company there. And there's actually a lot to explore when it comes to like just hiking, going out to the desert, and there's dolphins. So, we went to the northern tip of the UAE, and it's beautiful up there. They have dolphins following you in the boat, and they also have this very cool algae. So at night, if you go out, you can step into the water and it
It
lights up
glows.
blue. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So,
That is really cool.
yeah. So,
It's like Avatar.
yeah, no, it very much was. And we'd also go hiking over in Oman, which is the country next door. And they're very lovely people. They're very nice. And it's cool because they're, for a background that's very similar to like, kind of outskirts of like Arizona, Zion National Park, very brown, very rocky. They all wear these just very colorful candoras and traditional garb, but orange, yellows, all these very bright colors, and it's very cool to see.
Sweet, man. So do you ever see yourself like maybe going back to the Dubai region?
No, I mean, I miss my people there, but it would be a step back. Yeah, I like where I'm heading, and I like the dream is to be probably not live in LA forever. I like it out here, but
Right.
eventually I'd probably like to have house something outside of the city, and maybe do the you know uh Jeff Daniels thing where you just fly in from Montana when you get a movie role or something.
Uh, yeah. And just work out of town, go where you needed.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't blame him. I heard that he did do that where he's not, is he in Montana or was it Michigan?
I think it's Montana. Like, I know he
Uh,
has like a ranch out there or something.
that guy has had one heck of a career.
Yeah.
Like do you have like since you brought Jeff Daniels up, was this an actor that you kind of just sort of admired or was a fan of his work?
I mean, I've always enjoyed him. He's I mean, I admire him. He's not one of my favorites, not to say anything like against him. I guess when it comes to actors, I try to actors, they're just like people, just like anything else. So I
Yeah.
try not to put anyone up on a pedestal anymore, especially because it's one of those things where I just don't, I don't want to have any expectations, because you never know when it might be like a situation where, oh, by the way, and such has these demons in their closet that we just are finding out about.
Yeah.
Which I don't, I want to assume the best in everyone, but again, if it's one of those things where I read an article like, oh, by the way, such and such has a sex dungeon, full of, like evil Satan worship, and it's be like, okay,
All right. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
yeah, well,
Damn it.
that's unfortunate. Yeah. But there are a number of actors that I do appreciate, and like, no, someone who I've been admiring lately is the guy who plays Drax.
Oh, Dave Batista.
Yeah, because if you look at him, he has that kind of similar rock, starting out as a wrestler, path, and doing like action movies. But you see him and he like, really took to wanting to do some drama stuff. So he took that role in Blade Runner,
Mhm.
2047, just that small, opening role, but that turned into, him working with that director, Dennis Nueva. I I always have trouble with his last name, but you know, parlaying that into, a bigger role in a Doom and stuff like that. And,
Right.
to look at the guy, you think, wrestler and all that, but he's got chops, and I appreciate that. It's really showing that, no matter what your look is, you can still parlay that into, something more dramatic, more, on the, the what's the side of, like,
He's not necessarily getting typecast necessarily.
yeah,
Not,
yeah,
not the cliche role where, he's the big guy, the bodyguard, the cop, or whatever.
yeah. And it's for me, I mean, I get a lot of those like offers, and I'm fine with it. I'm just making my way. And but the on my profile on one of them's, I say, like, I want to be, because I'd love to do like action stuff. I got my action reel and stuff like that, but I'd love to do like an action movie, then parlay over to, being like a farmer in World War I, worrying about, the people fighting around me and just trying to keep my family together, something like that.
Right.
Like, I think that'd be fantastic.
I just saw a movie recently called Knock at the Cabin. I think it was on Tubi, and Dave Baptista played like uh, one of the leads, and he actually was working with some, very, very uh, seasoned dramatic actors. Like you had that one redheaded kid I remember. Rupert Grint, yeah, from what's it called? Harry Potter, the Harry Potter redhead guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Knock at the Cabin, little brief overview is like these guys, all of them had these like visions of the end of times and what they had to do to strategically sacrifice themselves in order to save the world.
Okay.
So not for nothing, he did a fantastic job. And before that, I think he was in the second edition of Knives Out.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched that yet, but
I guess it was the Glass Onion.
yeah, yeah.
All right, that's what it was. All right, which was really, I mean, I've seen it. It was cool. And did you see him and Jason Momoa as brothers in C in the second season?
No, is he any good? I like.
I didn't. I do enjoy that show. It had a very good beginning intro to the entire universe. And once they got into the second season, they really broke in. They really broke the material in and just really took us on a journey of the blind. And my best takeaway on how it improved was just what they did with the opening trailer and theme song for the entire universe of C. I do recommend it because, like, honestly, if you could find it at the local library on DVD, I'd say pick it up because it was very good.
It's funny you say that, because that's been one other great thing about being out here is like the LA library system is actually very good. It's all centralized, so you can request. They have tons of DVDs, obviously tons of books, but you can request it from anywhere and just have it sent to your local library. So I've
Yeah,
been
they got it in
utilizing
New
that a
York
lot.
as well. That's all
Yeah.
part of the same network.
Yeah, so that's actually been fantastic. Like, we actually shut off most of our streaming services, and we're like, well, most of the stuff we can actually get at the library. Like,
That's exactly why I have not surrendered my VCR, my VHS, or anything like that, because the Wi-Fi goes out once in a blue moon. And, if you got a little bit of electricity and the TV does work, I say just literally put on a movie.
yeah. Yeah, we've been on like an 80s kick, and yeah, for better, for worse. And it's also it's one of those things where, oh, how's this age? Oh, this doesn't age well. at all.
Right.
You know, like I watched. I mean, granted, it's a shitty movie anyway, but because I had never seen Weekend at Bernie's.
What? No, stop. You have not seen that before.
No.
All right. So you have seen it by now.
Yeah, so I rented it last week and watched it. I was just like, this is delightfully horrible.
Right? And that's what I like. The soundtrack is like one of the best parts about that movie. You know, it's just like, what are the odds of it actually being a true story? But still, like I see guys dressing up like Weekend at Bernie's at Comic-Con and stuff like that, where they're the trio.
Yeah.
They just literally walk around. That was, I mean, that movie for what it is, just an awesome movie. That's where I put it. Just an fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I was just like, it's a very encapsulation of that time period. You know, it's just so 80s. So like, yeah, oh my God, you know, we're going to go party on the beach. Yeah, and all the colors and yeah. And also the guy who plays the assassin or like the mob like assassin looks really familiar, and I can't figure out where else I've seen it before.
I know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna look him up. Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, like I know I'd seen him in like other
Top of the
films
list.
of that time period. And you know, it was just one of those faces. I didn't look it up, but I was like, because I was trying to like, okay, where have I seen this dude?
Oh, his name is Don Calfa. And he played Paulie. Oh, he passed away in 2016 at age 76.
Okay.
So he's got quite the resume. Did his last movie in 2015. He was the fourth tenor in a Rodney Dangerfield film. He's in Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy in 1998. And actually, he did 2 episodes in that TV show, Columbo.
Huh. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like it was probably like a 90s movie, like early 90s. I could see him in like a kid's comedy as like, you know, goof guy. So I'm wondering if it was like one of those like heavyweights or something like that, you know.
Looks like he did a lot of like, it's really surprising, like what type of like how movies get made, even with modern time. And you just look at a resume of 90. This guy did 95 films as an actor, and he was working in. Yeah, that's what I mean. He was doing like 2 or 3 movies in a year. A lot of these I never heard of before, because he did have a very unique look, and it's just like the amount of time, the energy, and the creativity that goes into making all these things. It's just, it's mind blowing.
No, and especially like if you think about even some of these like big projects, like The Rock was trying to get Black Adam off the ground for like I think 12 years or something.
Did you watch it?
I did.
I watched the first. I don't think it was 10 minutes, but it was definitely a generous 5.5. And then I'm like, I'm sorry. It was probably just not a good day for me. Not to knock on it, just didn't quite capture my 10% OCD attention, unfortunately. I wasn't left wanting more. The Rock, I love that guy. Truly, he truly is like, the people's champion. I'm still a little unforgiving because he did not defeat Mick Foley in the I Quit match that I remember watching on Monday Night Raw when I was like 10 years old. I'm like, you didn't win. I'm sorry. Mick Foley did not tap out. You couldn't beat him. So I guess I'm still upset. I guess I'm a little biased towards The Rock right now, where I can't watch his films. Other than Jumanji, I did watch Jumanji, both of them. I thought
it was cute. Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious. It had some great moments, and I'm like, this is great.
Hey, check out my penis. No, thank you.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm not like, I don't mind some of this adult humor, especially for us. Like, we in 1995, I watched the original Jumanji when it came out, and even then, that was just a very suspenseful, incredible idea for a movie where a kid gets sucked in the board game and comes back. But now we get to see the universe inside that board game. I really thought I appreciated that. You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, like I think especially when it comes to some of these superhero movies, I mean, I thankfully have a friend who's like a comic book dude, and because beyond like the mainstays, I've just been getting to a point where I was like, who are these people? What do they do?
Right.
um but no, like the only like one that I had my heart attached to, like, because then the only comic I remember, like, I got into, I really liked Venom when I was like 12. There was something about that character I quite like. So when they had Topher Grace from that 70s show in Spider-Man
Oh
3,
my God. Yeah, I
that
didn't
was
have
the
to watch it.
yeah, that was the one time I was like, that is not my Venom. How
Yeah.
dare you?
I still haven't seen who's it? Matt Hardy? No, it's not Matt
Tom
Hardy.
Hardy. Yeah.
Tom Hardy. I'm thinking of the Hardy Boys from wrestling.
Yeah.
No, Tom Hardy as Venom. He did a little like cameo, I guess, at the end of Spider-Man. What was it? Spider-Man No Way Home, the most recent
Yeah.
one.
They're the way I look at those movies, like they're not the best movies, but I both of them I've walked out happy. I'm like, I am satisfied. It
The
was
acting was there, I
yeah.
think. I gotta like, and this kid, it's oh my God, it's escaping me right now. I'm really not good with names, and people who listen to the podcast know I have memory loss. I think every traumatic injury to my brain playing football growing up caught up with me in my mid 30s, and all of a sudden I'm forgetting small things, especially when I cook. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna write things down more and eat out. No,
I, I
what's
feel you
the
on the football thing. I played football and rugby, so yeah, I
you
got you.
played rugby? I'm dying to try that game. I figured why not just do it.
It's good fun.
I can't. I mean, two-hand touch when we were 10 years old was rugby.
Yeah. No, that's something while I'm out here. I want to kind of get my feet under me first, but there's a couple leagues for rugby out here. So yeah, I'm thinking of joining up again.
What's the kid's name who plays Spider-Man right now?
Tom
Holland.
Holland. There we go.
Okay, Tom Holland. All right, so I got like I just wanted to give that guy a quick shout out because what he did in Spider-Man No Way Home, he really, I think he really put the work into the character. There was no comic relief. It
No,
was
it
it
got you
was
in the
not,
feels for sure.
oh, 100%. And, it was very, for me, nostalgic because I remember right before 9/11 happened, the trailer in 2000 that was coming out, where we were supposed to see Spider-Man Christmas time of 2001. And the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire trailer had already been like filmed and it was getting completed. But I remember the trailer when I was a kid. It was actually, I guess, a robbery that Spider-Man caught in progress, and he captured the helicopter they were getting away with, and he put a spider web between the Twin Towers before 9/11 trailer, and that helicopter was fastened like a fly trap between the towers with the helicopter imprinted right there, and that was the trailer, the original trailer for Spider-Man coming out.
No shit.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but I do because we were supposed to watch it that year, but it got pushed back to the following summer, I think, of 2002, because they literally, I don't like that they did this that much. Look, hindsight, but they actually deleted all the scenes with the Twin Towers out of the movie, you know?
Hmm.
And I don't know if like any of that still exists, but I think they were just trying to be, I want to say, just like a little bit respectful to the war that was beginning, and maybe not like reopen a wound, I guess, but still but still like, what I really kind of wish is that we would have the option to see that deleted scene at this point.
Yeah.
Only because it's like it is part of American history and world history, and those buildings were a symbol, a symbol of strength and hope, especially for the city of New York. And I think if that were included into Spider-Man, it would be, I think at this point, just a respectful monument, I suppose, at this point. And it shows that we never forget, and that we're not going to delete it. We're not going to just erase it from history, and at least give people the option to see something original.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my opinion on media in general. Like, because I hate censorship of all sorts, like when it comes to like music or film or anything. And so, with the movement of, when it comes to looking back in like some of these old like catalogs of comedy or whatever it is, and like removing episodes and stuff, I'm like, no, just don't remove it. Like, do what I think Warner Brothers had a good smart move about is like, a lot of their cartoons are racist as shit, but what they do, they don't censor. They go, these were of the time, like, we're
A
telling you
disclaimer of
what.
some kind.
Yeah, like they just have like a thing that says in front, like, this was like, it is now, was then wrong, but like this is how it was. And like, yeah, it's a time capsule. And like, I don't want to like censor it, like, don't, change history. Like, the only way to like learn from some of that shit is to see like, oh, I can't believe they did that back then. Well, this is why, we can like move forward and like, you know, do something now. But I hate censorship, like, and the good thing about those things is it makes you realize what you like, what you don't like, and like we can have some of those discussions from it. And like, I obviously, something like that, I don't agree with it, but I'm of the mind like, I will, I hate what you say, but you have the right to say it. Doesn't mean you won't have consequences for it.
Right.
I'm not going to take that away from anyone. Like, say whatever the hell you want, but if there are consequences, then it's on you. That's fine. Like the, I've really want to go back and watch like, It's Always Sunny. And I know they have some like really like, episodes now. They're like, oh boy, but
I haven't watched a single episode yet. Like,
really,
I mean, I'm a little disappointed in myself and my lack of commitment to television. I just,
there are worse things.
it's, yeah, I guess, especially when it was airing and stuff, I was so focused on becoming an actor as well, where I didn't really, I guess, have the time to just binge watch, because we didn't have really binge watching capabilities that whole time, and there's downtime for me, but there's so much content that exists, and
you can't watch it all, even if you
I can't.
try.
No, I can't. I mean, I love Danny DeVito. I met him. He is a wonderful human being. And I actually I had a dream once where instead of he he was supposed to do Twins 2 about 15, 16 years ago with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were going to do Twins Part 2, but at that time, Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for governor as a Republican in the state of California, and he wins. So, Danny DeVito and him have the conversation, and it's just like it got put on hold. So it never got made, but I just think it would be funny, to see it now that Arnold Schwarzenegger's back in the acting world, and now they're grandfathers type of a character instead of just being dads.
Yeah.
Where are they now? But my dream was where they literally had they had Shaquille O'Neal come in and be the adopted kid to the family as well.
Yeah. Idea, like, I hope it happens, but there's been a rumor going around that they're going to try to bring in Arnold Schwarzenegger to play Danny DeVito's character Frank, and It's Always Sunny, and just not say anything, just because they're like, for twins. And just
Oh,
so like the whole episode just act like it's Frank.
I
Which
got it
I'm
now.
like,
I gotta
please.
watch. I gotta watch the show now because like the actors were hilarious. That like
Yeah.
it
I'm
was a
like,
great,
please
fantastic
do
comedy,
this. So
or at least like do a fan film like short mini episode where it's not gonna be ridiculously expensive, but do like a sizzle reel or like a lost episode.
yeah. If you're gonna start, I think a good one to start with is you should do like the Day Man Cometh. So like Charlie, that character who is like really stupid, like writes a play to try to win the heart of the actress that he's always stalking. And yeah, so they all put on a play, and it's just no spoilers, but I was like crying laughing when I watched that episode.
Do you know what episode number it might have been?
It's I know the name of it. It's called The Day Man Cometh.
The Day Man Cometh. All right.
Yeah.
Where could it is it on a streaming platform right now?
Yeah, I think it's part of FX, which is part of Hulu.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I had Hulu for a long time, and uh, the last thing I watched on Hulu was the most recent Predator called Prey.
I heard that was good.
It was fantastic. They did such an amazing job. That was a great story, and the way they executed it was badass.
Yeah.
Oh, it
I'm
was so
glad you
badass.
reminded me of that one. Like I've been that was on my list. Ooh, maybe I can search that down. Know which one I actually enjoyed too was the Predators, the one with Adrian Brody. Like it kind of went under the radar, but that actually was like really fun too.
Who's Adrian Brody? I can't think of their face.
He's the guy from the piano.
Oh, you're talking about when they're out in the jungle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw him yesterday in Angels in the Outfield.
Adrian Brody's and Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah, he was the worst pinch hitter of the Angels in the Outfield. Him and Matthew McConaughey walked away from
No.
that movie with Danny Glover. I'm telling you, it was him. Yeah, he was in it.
No.
Angels in the Outfield from 1992, three, right around then.
Yeah, I think it was like 95. Yeah, because I remember because apparently Matthew McConaughey, that was like his kind of breakout. And at the same year, he is in like the third Texas Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Was he really?
Yeah, so he's in the third one. It's him and Renee Zellweger as like, the crazy, like, part of the, family, like, the crazy family or something. So I think both of them kind of had their like stepping out parties like within the same time frame. So both of them were kind of like, do we have to put this movie out? Yeah.
Right.
So they really tried to like separate themselves from it. But
I did like that Predator because these guys were very well trained. Like, not I don't want to say SEALs, but they were definitely had such a strong military background, and all the Predator films, not for nothing, they just were very, very epic, and like a lot of very good hunting tactics. I think were shown, especially when it came to booby traps and just going with your gut and avoid a situation. It's like and it was a comic book first, I believe.
okay. Yeah, and
I think the Predator, Aliens and Predator, I think they started out as a comic book, or they were like right around the exact same time, written down as both, and they just made Aliens the film. But I think the comic book started around like the exact same time.
okay. And so Story of Filmmakers, you guys are working on your first comic, yeah?
Kind of like this is something that I really wanted to try to give a go myself, because I'm looking at all my scripts, and it started with the Korean War film. It had so many different titles that I started back in 2008. It was called Ethos, it was called Death Rattled, it was called Forgotten Legacy, and I kind of just landed on Heart and Soul. And the story of the Korean War is so vast, and it's a 3-year war
Oh,
where
I'm listening to a 10-part series on Korean War right now. It's called Blowback. It's a great podcast. They do a different thing every so they have a 10 episode series, 10 episode season, and so this season is the third season. It's all about the Korean War, and it's been eye-opening in some good ways and some like, oh no ways. Like, yeah.
Oh, I see. So Blowback is a military podcast, and they do war stories.
No. It's a history podcast. So it's these so it's just
A podcast about the American Empire.
yeah, it's from like both like sides of it. So like it kind of shows the American side, and it shows like the Korean side. So it's like kind of just showing both worlds. So it's like it's more the bigger story rather than like one side or the other, I guess. But I mean, yeah, like I said, it's been eye-opening, and you're just kind of like, oh wow, this was a lot more complicated than a 3-year war would think a 3-year war was, you know.
Welcome to Happy Corner. This project strives to make safe housing areas for stray cats at an affordable price. It's so easy to put together that even your children could have fun making one. Help keep cats and other animals safe with their own little Happy Corner homes. You can help this project become a reality by donating to the GoFundMe page. Happy Corner homes are a great way to show those animals in need it's okay to be happy.
And every person who I spoke to about the Korean War, it was a very sensitive subject, except for one guy who was the combat medic. Like his name was Chris Farlacus. He died in 2015. But in 2008, when I met him, up until the time, we probably had a couple 100 hours worth of conversations since we've met, and really got to know each other very well. And it inspired me to, like, maybe if acting doesn't work out, consider being a producer. So I did write Forgotten Legacy, but it was really just sort of like based on his true story on how serving in the Korean War was like, it just set the tone for the rest of his life. And I remember around that time, I had a lot of regret not being in Iraq. I had, I did not want to be stateside. There were many times where, I had so many opportunities where I could have just enlisted, but there was always something not stopping me, but I just didn't have that reason to do it yet. I think I needed a good reason to go, or at least enlist. And from all the people I met since then, people ask me like, Phil, do you have any military background, anything like that? Like, they don't always say my name. A lot of strangers say, "Are you? Where do you serve?" I'm like, I never did, sir. And I guess I just look like I did in a sense. I kind of have that presence. It's just,
I get that too. Yeah.
you know what I mean? I just, I had so much regret for a long time. I almost enlisted in the Army last year, just because the cutoff was 35 years old, and I still wanted to be a part of it. And at the same time, I just mentally, I was not in a good space to be in the Army in any way, shape, or form. So I guess I could just play a soldier in a movie and call it a day. But it's now Forgotten Legacy is now called Heart and Soul. It's a potential episodic in development period piece of the late 40s coming into the mid 50s. It's going to be expensive to do, amazing to do, but I reached out to somebody on Fiverr because I wanted to just kind of clean up the graphics a little bit, and I came across this guy who does AI images, and I showed him my sketches, and he just converted the majority of the sketches, and based on the dialogue of the scene, into over 100 pictures of just AI, like a full battle scene. And I thought it was so freaking cool, so I just posted that recently on the Heart and Soul campaign, which I'd like to see it just as a print, maybe do it as a gift for everybody who donates to the campaign if they want to see it. Something like that, or maybe just do it only as a comic book. Maybe we don't have to do it as a movie. Start as a comic book and let other storytellers down the road tell it visually if they want to see it. And since I got bit by the AI bug, we tried something recently for Fireland. I think that's how you and I first met, was with the FDNY story.
Yeah.
So turning the first scene into AI to just see if it would be kind of cool to create a comic book of episode 1, or do it in 3 parts where you have the first act, the second act, and the third act of the entire first episode, and you have it in comic book form. And just see if there's interest there to tell the story of 1990s firefighters.
Okay.
So I mean, we're just gonna honestly we're gonna do anything just to see what sticks. And
yeah, I mean, that's the best policy, is just kind of put stuff out there until something clicks. So,
well, just this past week, somebody started, I think it was Russell. Shout out, Russell. I saw you. Russell opened the chat room on our Facebook group where all 900 members can now literally chat with each other. And I'm like, oh, I forgot. I should have thought of that. My bad.
yeah, I just I deleted Facebook years ago, but I just created one again just to add groups to. Like, I have like 3 people that I've added, and I'm just gonna add like basically industry people. So like I've had some friends be like, "Oh, you're on Facebook again, add me." I'm like, no. you have my number. Like, it's just gonna be
like, what are we
strictly business,
so yeah, we do that on my for my first theater group. There's about 10 of us that just have a chat room in our phones where we say, hey, does anybody want to hang out this weekend? And then everybody's like, no, but maybe next weekend.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Penguins.
Penguins.
Yeah, that was our theater group. We were called the Penguins.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. The leader of the gang was Kyle Bosch. Shout out, Kyle. He drew cartoon penguins, and he had a production company called Penguin Parody Productions. So everybody he ever met, he created them into a cartoon penguin. He did all the Avengers before they came out. He's a comic book nerd. I have a picture of me, Phil, as a penguin somewhere on my Instagram. But it was just, it was just like a really cool thing, to be accepted in the group and become an actor and work with these guys and stay in touch with them ever since.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of things going on.
It's good to have, what's the old thing? A few pots in the fire or something like that.
A couple of irons in the fire.
Something like that. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got, let's see, there's the AFC, there's AFC, there's all the projects in the AFC, such as Fireland, Seek, Feel the Pump, There Goes the Neighborhood, Clark Is, Molly, especially Molly. I think we're ready to do a sizzle reel on that. I'd like to do it. That's an AFC project. We raised $1,000 for the project. So I think as a training exercise, if we could do a sizzle reel for Molly, that would be a really good start, and then maybe finish it before the end of the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I mean,
It's a lot of work.
yeah. And I mean, it's with the writer's strike going on, you know, it's worth just kind of building on yourself and lining things up and everything else. So
Right. It's a curious thing, you know.
have you seen the strikers in New York or?
No. There has been rallies where you know, some of the guys in the group have been giving me a heads up on showing up for solidarity. I just been upstate for the most part, working my ass off.
Okay.
And not that I don't like, not especially not that I don't support what it is they stand for, what they want, because this is probably the third or fourth writer strike that's come around since I've been an actor that I've heard of. And you know, like for me, like a lot of us, you know, we do this because we love to do it. I'm sure these guys deserve to be paid appropriately. But I you know, it just at what point, um, uh, do you have enough money for, you know, to live your life great and continue doing what you want to do? Are you not getting the right amount of royalties because we're going to streaming? As a contracts negotiations where, you know, just kind of like sometimes it's a bit of a turnoff where, you know, I don't want to be associated with a certain amount of people because I have the ability to write, not very good compared to most, or the quality of the content would be any less than. And like, I remember I was on set with the writer for The Post with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. The first AD and the head writer was having a conversation standing right next to me. I'm just drinking my coffee. They didn't know how to actually go at the scene. They needed to add a line, and it wasn't necessarily my place, but it just popped into my head, and I gave them a line, and they kind of just looked at each other, and the conversation was over. And then they ended up putting it in the film, and it's like, oh, all right, you're welcome. So it just kind of seems like even as a writer, you're going in. Sometimes you gotta improvise, and it's just like I don't even know what a writer's contract even looks like. You know, so it's like how are you? And I'm only saying this because wait, this is the fourth one in the last like 10 or 15 years, and I get it. You want to you want to get compensated because this is a legit job, and I mean, how hard is it literally at this point to just put yourself as a supporting actor, write yourself in, and get a second income as honestly through the Screen Actors Guild, and literally delete the scene if you don't need it. You'll still get paid for it, and you know, just call it a day and stop the nonsense. Like at what what I don't even honestly I have no idea what's really going on.
I'm happy to give you a bit of a rundown. Just
please, yeah. I'm going to shut up and listen and refill my coffee. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, no worries. So this one is more about you're correct in that it has been switching over to streaming, and so a good example is the guys who do the SNL like shorts. A lot of them haven't been getting like proper compensation for their work, even because a lot of those shorts are just going direct online. So normally, like under normal circumstances, they'd be getting, you know, money every time they get a play, but they don't in that instance. And the other big thing is the advent of like AI. You know, AI is, you know, what, like I've listened to a couple podcasts just to get a better idea about it. And AI isn't as smart as people are worried about right now. But as it continues to grow, they're going to try to like push writers out. And like one of the big things for writers right now is they're trying to get rid of the writer's room. So it used to be that a writer would get hired to do a 22 episode season of a show, right? So they get fairly compensated for all that. and that's usually like a good year. But now shows are shorter, 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 12 episodes, and they're basically trying to turn a writer's room into a gig economy. So not only will that screw over the writers and take away, benefits, health benefits, union benefits, whatever else it might be, but it also is going to like kind of wreck the shows in the end, because a lot of these guys, like I listened to Mike Schur, who, was one of the showrunners for The Office. And, a big thing about writing is being able to actually help run a show eventually. So a lot of these writers will in turn become showrunners down the line. And that's what happened with Mike Schur. Is Greg McDaniels, who originally like put The Office together, hired Mike Schur and taught him and like Mindy Kaling and I forget the other writer, but he basically taught them how to make a show. And now they're trying to like make it so writers can't do that anymore. They're not going to get that experience. So all it is going to be is just throwing a writer in okay, write stuff. Okay, now you're done. Now you're fired. And so this strike is particularly important because the writers are not only, obviously, like you said, they want fair compensation. They also want to make sure that it is a viable job in the future, because if they don't stand up to it now, they're basically going to like screw themselves, and it's going to be self-destructive. So there has been a number, like the last like really important one was 2008, because the writers were just looking ahead and they knew the internet was coming. And so the studios, their argument was going to be that, oh, we don't know what this internet's going to be. It might not be for anything, but they were like, no, we see this coming. Like, we need proper compensation for, writing and doing shows and stuff. And
Future look.
so, that's the basic gist of it, is between like AI writers and like, making sure that the best example is the studios, I think, made, I want to say like it's in the billions. I forget how many billions, but basically they've been making billions off of streaming services. And what the writers are asking for would be about 4% of it, which would be equivalent to about 426 million between 12,000 people, if not more. So with if you compare the billions and billions to 4%, it's not hard. It's like they could be like, that'd be a rounding error for them. So
it's about the pension.
It's about the pension. It's basically about the future of the industry. So
4 seems like very low, honestly. Well, 4%, it just seems like a very, very low number.
It is. And like I said, when it comes to profit margins, it's a rounding error for most of these guys. It's just being pushed by Wall Street to like push down. And like, so again, you're right. Like a lot of them writers, a lot of them will do it for the joy, but to make it still a viable, job where you can raise a family, do all this stuff, do the things that, aka the American dream. If the studios get their way right now, it's just not going to be viable. It's just going to be, you're going to have to turn it into like a gig thing where you do this, but you also, and like you said, they can put multiple hats on, maybe write themselves into an acting thing, join SAG and such, but writers aren't actors and some actors aren't writers. Most of these writers just write. There's a few like Adam, I've been listening to a lot of his posts lately. Adam Conver, like he has a show like Adam Ruins Everything. I don't know if you've heard of it, but yeah, he's one of the union reps, and he's been very good about kind of explaining the situation. And he is an actor and a writer, but some of them like I just want to write because they like creating these characters. They don't want to be a character. They don't want to be an actor. Like their dream and their livelihood is just writing. So anyway, that's my very baseline explanation of it.
Gotcha. Well, it's not unreasonable. And
No.
I've spoken with like cybersecurity specialists about AI, where in the past year, it's actually grown to a point where there was a lot of concern from security point of view. And a year from now, it's probably going to be ridiculously. I don't want to say lethal. I don't know too much about it because it wasn't really talked about. But 10 years from now, it'll probably be Skynet, where it's going to be running, like it's going to be its own brain running its own thing, and maybe even uncontainable.
Maybe. Well, even just the here and now as a voice actor, I actually have a rider that I send to my clients now that says they can't duplicate my voice. So I'm just trying to look ahead for that type of stuff. Granted, once, an ad of mine or whatever is out on social media, there's not much to be done about it. But just for my fair compensation, I just send out a rider now that says, like, you're not allowed to manipulate my voice. Obviously, if it's out in the world, something happens to it, it's not up to you, it's not your fault. But yeah, it's just the world we live in now. And
It's gonna be tough,
I mean,
because
as an actor too, you have to be very careful about digital replication. Keanu Reeves, for one, I know is an actor who makes it very clear in every contract that they're not allowed to hang on to a digital replication of him, obviously, aside from, special effects and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, he's had that for a few years. So. And there's jobs out here where I've turned it down because literally the job was to screen your face and use it for, a video game. And you're basically like, giving them the rights to your face for sometimes perpetuity. I'm like, no.
so it would conflict with future contract work.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily conflict, but like, if they have your face, who knows what they will do with it, like they can throw it in any video game they want in any context. So maybe
I
you
see.
see yourself and like there's a video game, there's some creepy character, or like, why does this creepy character have my face that I didn't fucking agree to?
Gotcha. Oh, I see. I know before Marlon Brando passed away, he digitized his face because it was such a futuristic thing. I think it was back in the 80s when it was like the first digital scan that came forward of how scanning a face is going to look and influence the art form of feature films moving forward down the road.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, no, it's a wild new world, but I mean, it is one of those things where, especially when you're younger, it just sounded like sci-fi. And, even though we're not, like you said, at Skynet levels yet, it is where, oh shit, this could happen soonish.
I can't even imagine on a national homeland security scale, the type of things that we don't know about.
Well, I mean, I'm just like even amazed, obviously not at that type of level, but when I was a kid playing like regular Nintendo and to see what video games are now.
Oh, A, B, forward, back. Yeah. That's it.
It's nuts.
I was just looking at some of my old Nintendo video games, and I had Back to the Future, the video game on Nintendo growing up. And now it's a Broadway show, which actually I'm excited for. I haven't seen a Broadway show in a long time, but that might be a go-to fun musical to go and watch.
Yeah, man.
I love the soundtrack.
Yeah, Huey Lewis in the News. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Beetlejuice is gonna be a show out here this summer. I'm gonna see about getting tickets to that.
They were on Broadway for a minute, and I guess they're gonna be kind of touring around now that they closed, I think, on Broadway.
Yeah, no, I know they're gonna be out. They have like a Broadway in LA, which I think they take some of the Broadway shows that either have closed recently or are on tour, and they like do like a set couple weeks in LA, which is cool. So
Awesome, man. You want to give that a try? You want to do a musical?
um funny enough, I did have audition. I don't think I got it, but I auditioned for Captain Von Trapp from Sound of Music. So
Nice.
yeah, so that was fun. It was I didn't remember much from that movie. I do like that one song he sings. So I was like, yeah, I could sing that song. So
Edelweiss.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a that's a timeless classic. And can't really beat Christopher Plummer. May he rest in peace. But man, oh man,
Yeah.
what a great guy.
Yeah. So that man had a great career.
Fantastic. Like he was gone for a minute, but he went out.
On
You know,
top, yeah.
in a blaze of glory. He did some really good projects. I remember for the first time in a long time when I hadn't seen him in any movies. He was the grandfather in National Treasure with Nicolas Cage,
Oh,
and that was a
shit.
good
Was
throwback.
he?
Yeah, yeah. He played Nicolas Cage's grandfather, and John Voight was Nicolas Cage's character's father. Then, of course, it was Nick Cage, and here we are.
Yeah. All right, dude. I think I got to bounce. Actually.
All righty, man. I guess we'll do a quick closing segment.
Yeah.
We end every show with a segment called "The Right Words at the Right Time," and "The Right Words at the Right Time" was inspired by this book called "The Right Words at the Right Time" by Marcy Hopkins, and it's just a collective of interviews of very well-known public figures and athletes, politicians, all of whom were given the right words at the right time early on in their life or throughout their life that stuck with them so they could continue doing what they've always done and really, kept the batteries full for them.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you a similar question. If there were any words in your life that were just the right words at the right time for you that have always stuck with you, inspired you, kept you going, especially when you were down, that helped you overcome any form of adversity or obstacles? Or if not, do you have any words of your own that you would like to share?
Hmm. Trying to think. So I just sometimes I think about so I've been lucky enough to get the opportunity to travel a good bit. And what I've found is when you're kind of on the road, when you're on your own, when you're just kind of out in the world and on your lonesome, I've just realized, for me personally, there's just something where no matter how cold you get or how hard something is or how heavy something is, and some inspiration I got from reading the David Goggins book. He's a ex-Navy SEAL, and he's a madman. Like I would, I'm definitely not to his level, but he, in one instance, like without very much training, he did like 100-mile race, and yeah, can't hurt me. And so whenever I'm like out and like going for a run or doing something I don't particularly want to do, I just think to myself, people are capable of running a 100-mile race without, very much training. You can do this. And I think that's helped me just get through, because a lot of times it's just getting through those little things. Once you get through the little things, you're fine, And it took me a while to figure that out, because sometimes there'd be barriers, you try to break it down, And I'm like, it just takes one more time. And you just do that until it actually is one more time. I guess is the best way. Those are the words I leave with.
One more time. Yeah, I think Mick from Rocky left Rocky Balboa a similar right words at the right time called "One More Round," and that's it.
Yeah.
But one more time. And I did. I listened to David Coggin's book, Can't Hurt Me, when it first came out. And yeah, I think when he first did 100 miles, it was on a track. It was 20, and he took him 18 hours to do. And all he had was I think a Gatorade and a box of cookies or something like that.
Something insane.
Something ridiculous where he was hurting, shitting himself, could not move, to the point where it's just we got to go to the hospital. You're hurt.
Yeah.
But he finished the race. And I think you're absolutely right, because he said it, the human brain is this powerful thing. And if you could believe something and you could see it, you can do it. And sometimes maybe it just takes one more time.
Yeah.
Well, this was great, Justin. I really hope to work with you down the road. We're definitely going to be doing a lot of podcast plays in the future. And I really do appreciate you coming on the show, especially educating me with the WGA, everything that's going on. And please, if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out.
I appreciate it, man. It's been good being here. And yeah, no, I look forward to working with you, dude.
Right on. So then I'll leave you with this as you go about your day, to always remember to never forget community, creativity, and joy.
Those are 3 good things. Yeah.
Those are 3 great things. Enjoy your day. I'll see you soon.
You too, bud. Later.
Out for now.